It's time to feel the rage. Welcome to Film Rage, where we talk movies in theater, streaming, and classic films as well. Directors and actors, beware as you cannot hide from the rage. My name is Bryce, and I'm part of the Film Rage crew, which also includes Jim. Hey there, Jim.
Hey, Bryce.
And Murray, who is the only person I personally know that is looking forward to Top Gun Maverick. Is this true, Merman, or is it a vicious rumor?
It is absolutely true. Awesome.
There you go.
I'm just
you
looking
heard
for
it here first.
I'm only looking forward to the homoerotic volleyball.
There you are. So with the introductions out of the way, let's rage on.
Oh, baby. Thanks to all who've been supporting us. If you love our independent podcast, please like, subscribe, share, and give us a 5-star rating on your listening platform, or support us and join the Film Rage community by joining our membership at buymeacoffee.com/Film Rage YYC. If you cannot commit to a membership, you can still buy us a movie rental and dare us to see a terrible film. And you know what? I think we just might watch it. Now, let's get to raging. But first, here's a word from our sponsor.
Hey, Bryce, what are you doing tonight?
I'm going to my favorite cinema, Canyon Meadows Cinema, to see the best second-run movies at the best price.
What? How inexpensive are they?
Regular price is $5, $5.
Regular price is $5. Makes me hope they also serve pizza.
They do, plus a lot of other great food choices. Plus, I'm planning my office Christmas party there. They can host a plethora of options for any get-together. Gaming, movie, drag show.
Drag show? Now I know where I'm planning my next party.
Hey, maybe you think there's a Liam Neeson or a superhero movie planned?
I hope not. But maybe there'll be a great independent documentary.
Sure. Call CMC at 403-670-5444 to book a special event, or go online at canyonmeadowscinema.ca. All right, cue that streaming music.
We don't do no we don't got no stinking streaming.
What?
We ain't got no stinking streaming.
What are you talking about?
No streaming.
Ah.
I don't think, you know what? The world of COVID took away cinemas, and now cinemas is taking over streaming. We may never have to stream a thing again.
We can only hope.
We'll have to stream some stuff.
You mean when the seventh wave comes?
Yeah.
Wow, we still got to stream our Rage or Dare movies, and amongst other things.
That's true. But we're not actually streaming new content. Because we're going to the cinemas.
We are.
As long as they last.
That's right.
All right, then. So let's start out by talking about a movie by the name of Nitram.
At the Plaza.
We saw it at the Plaza, yes.
Our only art house cinema in Calgary. You can't classify the other one as art house now.
I guess
They're
not.
playing what movies?
I don't know what they were playing like. Anyways, doesn't matter. Nitram. Based on tragic events in Australia in the mid-90s, Nitram is the story of a troubled young man who, when left to his own devices, perpetrated the massacre of 35 people and injuring 23 others. The events at Port Arthur on that day stands as one of the worst massacres in Australia committed by a single person. This is one of the best acted films I have seen, with Caleb Landry Jones delivering a performance as Martin Bryant that I will never forget. Judy Davis as his mother and Anthony LaPaglia, who are almost unrecognizable, as his father, also delivers some of the best work that they have ever done, along with Essie Davis as Helen. Oh, she's so good in this. Oh, Helen. Who forms one of the most off-putting, awkward relationships ever caught on film. Helen and Martin, or Nitram, their friendship is odd and hypnotic and hard to look away from, not unlike every frame of this film. This would have been an easy film to make if they chose to glorify the events that happened that day of April of 1996. They could have made a film that could have easily exploited the violence, but instead, they made a film that will haunt you, even though almost no violence was depicted on screen. Every situation they presented is a tension-filled powder keg as I waited for this obviously disturbed individual to explode. They could have followed Nitram through that day in April, but I feel so much more was accomplished by not showing the massacre. The film had me feeling uneasy and wanting to look away throughout, but I could not look away from the screen as I was witnessing a career-defining performance from Caleb Landry Jones. This will go down as one of the best performances that I have personally ever witnessed. This was a carefully calculated telling of a terrible event in a masterful and haunting way. The film's agenda is well taken to anyone who witnesses it, and in my opinion, it is a worthy agenda. Nitram, for the powerhouse performances, the thoughtful presentation of a tragic event without the exploitation, and the extreme uneasiness it made me feel throughout, was Mondo. This is the best film I've seen this year.
Wow. That's a powder keg, all right. It's powder keg.
Yeah, what say you?
Well, it's not very often you see a film with a message as powerful on so many levels as this film. I knew nothing about this film going in other than who was in it, which was enough to get me excited because I love Caleb Landry.
Yep.
This film takes us on a journey that fully shows us a deep look at the character Nitram and everyone that he interacts with. I highly suggest, and unfortunately, I should have said this before Bryce told about what the actual story is, but I really highly suggest you see this without knowing anything about this film.
Too late.
But it's too late. You get to feel for our main character and his parents and what they are going through, his mental condition, and how it affects every single person that he comes into contact with. Our director does a very exceptional job of weaving humor into a film that is weighted down with dread. The dread is so thick you can cut it with a knife or shred it with a semi-automatic. This film has almost a Hitchcock level suspense where you know something is going to happen. And if, like me, you didn't know what was going to happen, then you get the full enjoyment that this build brings you by the time you get to the very end of this film. Not very often do we get this level of quiet growth from a character that allows every pore of his essence and feel the emotions that they are and those that he is with, and they all go through together. This film is sad. The message at the end of this is powerful and needs to be shared. This had a perfect ending to an almost perfect film that I enjoyed every single frame. Nitram is a hard watch at times, as Bryce had already alluded to. But all the time through this film, it was Mondo.
It really was.
And we'll have a bit of unpacking to do. But what would you think?
Caleb Landry Jones is one creepy dude.
Yes.
By that, I mean he plays a lot of creepy dudes.
Yes.
In this case, a very real and very dangerous creepy one. Banshee in X-Men First Class. Creepy. Contraband, Wahlberg's creepy brother who gets him in trouble. American Made, Tom Cruise's creepy brother-in-law who dates young girls and gets himself in trouble. The Dead Don't Die, creepy gas station clerk who creeps on Selena Gomez. And Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, creepy brother of a murdered girl. He actually does creepy better than almost anybody, except maybe Crispin Glover.
Yes, thank you.
I would dare say he's the new Crispin Glover. This movie, like most true crime dramas, was horrifying, surreal. As chilling as most of the scenes were, the scariest moment in the film was when Nitram, or Martin, walked into a gun shop, plopped on $10,000, and walked off with assault rifles and machine guns with no licenses or permits.
Just when you think it couldn't get any more tense.
Yes.
And as a point of fact,
Now he's got weapons.
the real guy Martin, he had the mental intelligence of an 11-year-old. And he had an IQ of 66. And this person walked into a gun shop and walked out with assault rifles.
And basically, to your point, Murray, at that point in the film, he needed to have certain things.
Yeah.
But the guy just overlooked it for an extra.
Yeah, because for the money.
Bunch of cash.
And yeah, like after this tragedy happened, they overhauled their whole gun licensing program. And according to the movie, now there are more guns in Australia than there were back then. So I don't know if anything was accomplished. Anyway, yeah, this isn't really an American story. It's a Tasmanian one. It was a very good film. It was a solid performance by Jones and a rare sighting of the unrecognizable Anthony LaPaglia. Like, I didn't know it was him, really, until I read the credits. What kept this from being a Mondo for me is probably opposite of what you guys thought. I thought we needed to see the tragedy.
No.
Because
No.
there has to be consequences. And if somebody's watching this, you don't know what he actually did.
No, but
If you don't read about it in history, you don't know what he did other than he sat there eating a fruit cup. Like, you don't know that he killed people.
Right, but that's the point is, you know, at that point in the movie, you know what was going to happen, Murray. If you didn't, then your IQ is 68. I'm not meaning you. I mean, he knew he was going to kill people at that point.
And the other thing
was
is,
done. He had a bag full of guns.
Once you got into the credits, they kind of they laid it all out for you. They didn't have to show anything. And
I think this is a tribute to the fact that you don't show it, because it's not glorifying the violence.
Exactly.
It's actually, but it's just the fact that he gets away with a lot of this stuff during the movie. It's like somebody should have stopped him before it got that far.
Well, but that is the whole point of this movie, Murray. This movie is actually showing you a side, and it's similar to what you and I were talking about the car earlier, but I won't go into detail. But this takes the perpetrator and shows the humanity side of that person, which there always is. I mean, he had a severe mental illness, and this is one of those films that, like, when you hear these controversial trials where the person is a murderer, and then they put him on trial and they go, do they understand really what they were doing? I don't think he did, because he didn't have full concept.
He didn't have mental capacity to do it. Yeah,
right. That's what I mean. So it's showing everybody was affected by this man. Everybody.
Yeah. Still, I can't give it a Mondo because I thought they should have shown it. So
yeah.
It's just a creepy as hell, man.
For me, no.
You can't show it.
I didn't think they should.
I think you could have.
But I think we all agree that Caleb Landry Jones was absolutely brilliant in this film. And I'm surprised with the director.
Yeah.
Right? To do what he did with this film. I don't know how many films he'd made at this point, but it's quite... I don't think this film could have been made in North America. That's my perception.
Well, they would have wrecked it.
Well, maybe, but you know, it doesn't have that sensibility that Australian films have.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it has this to look at this side of this terrible event and be able to look at this person as a human. They really humanized him, and then so he was a victim too. But
yeah,
it's a sad story. It's
really, really sad.
It's so heavy,
Powerful
heavy content.
Film.
Heavy.
Yep.
One word: heavy.
It's so heavy.
So heavy.
All right then. From heavy,
we go to ambulance. Woo 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 woo.
Fluff.
Michael Bay, who you all know in my books is completely a doubted filmmaker. I just want to make sure that you all remember that. Plus, heist movie, which are usually above rom-coms, but below buddy driving movies for me as genres that I despise. So take a Michael Bay heist movie, throw in speed-adjacent plot, a brothers united subplot, nonsensical police car explosions and crashes, bank robbers who supposedly are the best in the business who botch everything up from square one and don't have any proper planning from moment one, plus the fact that it's got a Fast and the Furious type physics overlook for car crashes, or the idiotic police incompetence. Add a little medical science mumbo jumbo alakazam, which defy logic and reason, and don't forget the fact this film was motherfucking 2 hours and 16 minutes long of basically a cop force who are basically idiots chasing an ambulance full of incompetence, including a paramedic who is supposed to be the best in the business, yet doesn't follow basic first responder rules that even I, who took an 8-hour first aid training course, knew more than they do. Like, cut away the bulletproof vest and check the body for bleeding everywhere. Where is all this bleeding coming from? Where is all this bleeding coming from? Where is all this bleeding coming from? Bryce, where is all this bleeding coming from? If I heard that from her one more time, I heard it 100 more times. And yet halfway through the ambulance
You'd think
chase,
she'd investigate that a little
you
more
would think
closely,
as a
wouldn't you?
first responder, that's your first job, is to find where all the fucking blood's coming from. You would think until halfway through the film, she would finally decide to look where all the blood is coming from. But she didn't. It took her longer than halfway through the film to find out
Yeah.
where the bleeding was coming from.
Yeah.
Yeah. An ambulance chase that made no sense from moment one. Did I mention it was 2 hours and 16 minutes?
Yeah, you did.
Ending. This went from one level of stupid to another, and that's not even the half of it. Michael Bay, if you make another film, please do not. And if I had my way, you would be on the Doubted for life. We could vote to never have to watch another one of your films to save us the trouble of hiding from the level of rage that you deliver. I know our podcast promises directors and actors, beware as you cannot hide from the rage. But apparently it's I who cannot hide from the rage he delivers to me every single time he touches a fucking camera. That's it, I'm done. It's a rage. I have so much to unpack on this, but I'd love you all to at least talk about how much rage this delivered each one of you.
Okay, then. Of the three of us, I'm the one who would most enjoy a Michael Bay film.
That is true.
After all, with the exception of the world's worst actor, Ben Affleck,
No.
I actually enjoyed Armageddon. So, yeah, this is a piece of crap. It was a 2-hour car chase scene.
2 hours and 16 minutes.
No, 15 minutes was in the bank. Or it was Speed with an ambulance.
There you go.
Bay obviously didn't do any research on how real police handle these situations. So he just makes stuff up.
Yep.
I've seen enough TV shows and movies to know what real cops are supposed to do in this kind of situation.
I know real cops.
And that's not it. Like, they're trying to shoot the driver in the ambulance during a chase situation when there's a dying cop in the back of the vehicle. Or using every cop in the entire city to run them off the road.
Were they trying, though? That's what
Well, they weren't succeeding, but they were definitely trying. They had all these huge SWAT vehicles and tanks and everything else. They still couldn't do anything. Yeah, performances were all abysmal. Jake Gyllenhaal, what the hell were you doing in this turd burger? Too many sweeping, choppy camera moves and complete unbelievability.
Yeah, I'll be talking about that.
Yeah, it was pure rage.
Nice. And that wasn't just a rage from Murray. That was pure.
Pure rage.
It was pure, unadulterated
and I like
rage.
my action films.
He
This
does.
is terrible.
Remember, he's the biggest fan of Old Man Neeson.
That's true. They should have got him in this. It would have been better.
All right, Bryce. How much rage can you take this week?
Jesus.
Jesus is going to help you now, buddy.
There's no help from Jeebus.
Michael Bay, please stop making movies. Every shot does not have to be moving. There is no law that you have to cut to a different angle every 3 frickin' seconds. Every other shot does not have to be a Dutch angle. If you have two people in a room having a conversation, there's no need to circle them with the camera repeatedly. The one solace that I can take away from this, at least this turd of a script would have been bad no matter who made it, just not as bad. On that note, Who would read this and want to be part of it? What were you thinking, Jake Gyllenhaal and Yahya Abdul-Mateen II? Why are you in this crap? There was so much dumb in this movie that it would take a 50,000 word review to scratch the surface. One of the most ridiculous things in this whole film was the whole multiple ambulance diversion scene, or maybe it was the fact that she clamped an artery with her hair clip, or maybe it was, no, I'm not going down that road because it's a road that never ends. This was a film of never-ending dumb, plus it gave you motion sickness with its needless camera movements and inexplicable angles, and do not forget about the headache you will experience from the extreme noise that is unrelenting. This was another Michael Bay rage. Add it to the pile.
His head's going to explode.
I really, I'm begging you, please, can you go back and watch Pain and Gain? Please just rewatch it with new eyes.
Is that one of his too?
That's the only reason Michael Bay is not on our doubted list. I'm begging you, please rewatch it. I will pay you money. I have $5 in my wallet. I will pay you $5 to watch Pain and Gain. And then if it's a meh or a high meh, Michael Bay is on the doubted list for life. Sorry, we're sidetracking. We'll talk about the list later. But I still have that $5. Murray, we're waiting.
We're waiting? Oh, yeah, right. Sorry.
This is the highest level of...
Rage! Rage! Rage!
Who brings their dog to a fucking... like that from moment one? Was that supposed to be funny?
Apparently, the crime-solving team was Turner and Hooch.
He was actually the best written character, not the dog, but the owner of the whole film.
The guy showed up in a USC
I actually didn't hate him.
But he was
else.
an idiot too.
They're all idiots.
Like
Nothing
I've never
made
seen.
sense.
To Murray's point, there wasn't one thing that an actual police force would like.
No.
I almost imagine that when Michael Bay works on a film, that he's actually just going, you know what would be fun? This. It doesn't matter. Yeah. It doesn't. But should we fact check? No, facts are for kids.
Yeah.
This is not a fact film.
I think he just gets off on setting up these ridiculous frickin' shots. It doesn't matter what the story is, just so he can just look at what I can do with a camera.
It's so cool.
And no, he's met real cops because they end up blocking traffic for his stupid stunt scenes.
Yeah, he probably should have walked over to one of those cops and
asked
said,
a few of them
what do real cops actually do?
So what would you do in
chase?
this situation?
Or you know what? Being the banker of old, just so everybody knows, they had 2 bags of cash that they brought on the ambulance.
Yeah.
Which they tried to convince us
16 million.
was 18 million.
So it was 16.
No, well, even if it was 16 million, just so you know, a bag that size of hundreds, if it was hundreds, is only 1.8 million. So those 2 bags of cash was 3.6 million at most. Not even close to 16 or 18 or even 10.
Do they make $1,000 bills?
They probably had like $4 or $5 million bills in each one.
Sure.
Right, $1 million.
$1 million bills.
In the Michael Bay universe, they had $1 million bills.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Okay. Oh. Well, you know what?
You don't want to misplace one of those.
No.
You know what's so great about this week?
I don't.
That isn't the worst movie we've seen.
That isn't the worst movie we've seen.
Oh, I would say it was, but I know what you're getting at.
Murray, why don't you tell us about the second film that we were blessed to see?
Yes, against my wishes, we went to see Sonic the Hedgehog 2, which I'm convinced is a cartoon.
Yeah, we got to discuss why we even saw this.
Yes.
The first time it was a freaking Rage or Dare. It was a dare.
Was it a dare?
Why did we do this
I
time?
dared you guys, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
Anyways,
Guess that's
Apparently,
payback.
I dared us to watch
Apparently it's
this.
payback. Well, when the evil Dr. Robotnik returns to Earth from his banishment on a mushroom planet, which I don't even remember, with a new ally, Knuckles.
Nice.
Sonic and his new friend, Tails, are all that stands between them and global domination.
It's true.
See, IMDb write that. Sucker. This was the most uncomfortable 2 hours and 2 minutes I've had in the theater in a long time. It was only partly the movie's fault.
What?
The cinema we were at, which shall remain nameless, lowered the temperature to make it into an ice box.
What's a nice box?
So not only were we watching this 2-hour piece of crap, we were freezing our butts off. And we actually stayed. There were 7 of us in the auditorium, and 2 of them left because it was too cold. They were the lucky ones. At what point do we put away our childish things? As a youngin', I actually preferred Sonic over Mario or whatever the hell Sony was putting out. Well, these 2 movies have now made me loathe that adorable little blue ball of speed. The jokes were all cringeworthy, the human performances were awful, and I felt bad for Idris Elba, who was far better than this film. Jim Carrey, in his final on-screen performance, according to him anyway, basically recycles all of his annoying characters, like Riddler and the Grinch, and a little bit of Ace Ventura. Remember when he used to be a good actor? It actually happened at some point in his career.
Yeah.
Anyway, I hated nearly every moment of this 2-hour turd fest. Then again, I'm 51 and not 6. So yeah, speedy blue lightning rage.
It wasn't made for 6-year-olds either.
Well, they might have enjoyed it more than me.
Okay. I have no idea what I just witnessed. I thought it could not be worse than the first one. I was wrong. This was not made for adults, and it wasn't made for kids either with its bloated runtime. So who the hell was this made for? This was another Sonic Rage. I'm not talking about this movie.
Great. This is awesome. Well, I promised him it would be worse than the first one. In fact, before we watched it,
possible.
I knew it would be possible. I don't actually feel that it's fair, though, that we actually review these types of films anymore. Movies about video game characters are never anything I ever wanted, think should exist, or imagined would be something that would be a thing. But apparently, the constant viewing of society of superhero films with the same plots and outcomes over and 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 over have required greater tests of our intelligence to the point of not only making movies about video games, but also making sequels to said movies. I just want to know, what will we get next? Is it going to be Missile Command, The Next Generation, or Invasion of the Space Invaders? Or perhaps, what I'm most excited about seeing will be Pong the Musical.
Burger Time.
Well, Burger Time I would go see because it looks delicious. But because I paid $10.50, I'm going to have my say. This movie makes no sense. And there are way too many levels that you have to beat to get to each and every boss level. The big boss level was ridiculously long, and just like all video game movies, this is a rage.
I think that's enough said.
Yeah,
except we need to talk about we can't. No,
we don't need to talk about anything.
No, we need to talk not about the movie. I'm done.
Okay.
We need to talk about the fact that it doesn't matter how many movies are in cinema. We're not seeing movies for kids anymore.
Yeah, I thought we already had that conversation.
I thought we
did. But then you said we're going to this weekend.
Well, it was the only one of 4 that was playing. So if there's only 4 movies playing,
then we're not.
And if one of them is for kids,
we're not going to it.
We're not going to it. It's a rule.
It's the rule I had about cartoons.
And if it's an animated film for adults, it's not for kids.
There's exceptions to every rule,
which will be voted on.
Exactly.
By the Film Rage crew.
If 2 of us say yes, we should go to this, then we will.
Is that like when I wanted to veto Maverick and the 2 of you said we're going to see it?
Yes.
No,
okay.
I've said several times, you guys are both welcome to not go see it. I will see it and review it.
I think we need another voice, unfortunately, with that one.
Yes,
there,
because that's a skewed voice.
We don't need someone going all gaga over Maverick when
we already seen the commercial.
The truth needs to be told.
I just don't know if I can. You know what? We'll still have to agree on any movie that's made for family friendly or kids movies.
Yeah.
Or, okay, I'm putting in this one too. If it's a video game movie, same goes.
Yep.
I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's Mortal Kombat, which you gave a meh. I want to slap you for that too, because that movie was terrible.
Yep.
If it's a video game movie for kids, animated film, that's not for us. That's not our podcast.
Yep.
That's it, folks. Wait. That's all, folks.
Yeah.
So now let's go on to a movie that is for our podcast.
That is for our podcast. And it makes it a sandwich, I'm thinking.
It does make it a sandwich, but
Don't talk for me. So, we went and saw Navalny. It was actually a special screening. It was only playing two nights for some reason. But I believe it will be coming out on HBO Max in Yankee Land, which means it'll probably be coming out on Crave up here in Canada Land. So yeah, Navalny is the story of Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny. It's the story of his poisoning and the subsequent investigation of who carried it out and how this assault took place. It is a fascinating depiction of the man, his plight, his courage, and how Russia's climate of corruption led to the discovery of a government-ordered assassination. It plays out like a thriller on screen, as we are taken into a world that I have never been really witness to. It has some eye-opening revelations about the information that is out there on all of us, electronically, and the fact that it can be traded for cash if you know where to get it. The courage of Navalny is undeniable, as after he recovers from the poisoning, he leaves the safe confines of Germany, and knowing that the consequences could be dire, he returns to Russia. He still does, as he feels this is the only place he can accomplish the change he feels is necessary. What happens next is not surprising, and Navalny's struggle continues. Hopefully his existence and his tremendous following will perhaps be one of the factors that eventually brings Putin down. But that is probably the optimist inside of me talking. As an informative documentary, this was Mondo, and as a political thriller, this was also Mondo. Navalny was Mondo.
So it's two Mondos? It's a double Mondo?
Yeah, it was a Mondo as a political thriller, and it was Mondo as a documentary.
So it's Super Mondo.
It was, yeah.
Super
okay.
duper Mondo?
Nah, it was just Super Mondo. It was good. I really, really enjoyed it.
Okay.
And, I hope it makes a difference.
Yeah, I hope so too. Documentaries normally carry a narrative that most times are biased. I always prefer an unbiased narrative. And there are scenes in this that are made, as with all docs, to make us feel and think in a certain way. Putin may say that this is from the CIA or the MI6, but it's hard to argue with live recording of confession and brought to light by a group of respected reporters. So it's hard not to feel the emotions that this film brings to life. And to know, although there is a bias in this film, it is definitely justified and warranted. Don't get me wrong, I hate Putin just as much as I did before watching this film, and everything just fortified my beliefs by what has happened. Putin is a monster, and this movie was a Mondo. I have a lot of things I want to unpack, but I want to let Murray have a say first, and then we got to talk about a few things.
All right.
well, I'm not really a fan of documentaries. This was obviously an important one. This was evident by the fact that it was only in theaters for 2 nights, and there was a pre-taped Q&A with the director and key people in the conspiracy investigation after the movie. A bit long for my liking, very informative, and I took an instant liking to Navalny. As if we didn't already think Putin was evil, this film basically confirms that he's the next Hitler. Only dictators poison and kill their political opponents to rig the elections. I really hope the world doesn't let Putin get away with these atrocities and make him pay eventually. It was really entertaining and eye-opening.
Right.
There you go.
So we need to talk about the strength of this guy's character. You see, it's interesting. We see the leader of Ukraine right now is now the pillar of strength for the world. Leaders are watching what's going on with Ukraine and seeing him. And you see someone like Navalny that you just got to think, this guy is who does that? He should never have gone back. But he knew his message was more important than his life. And his kids knew it. And his wife knew it. And his family knew it.
Yep.
The fact that he's giving his life for the cause is a huge testament to his strength of his character.
Yep.
I couldn't believe it.
No, well said.
I just can't believe it. And talk about the humor in this. There's not very many documentaries where you see a guy who's basically knows his life. I mean, he was just about killed.
Yeah.
And his sense of humor was just biting and fun.
Yeah.
Like I want to hang out with this guy. Right?
Maybe someday, Jim.
Yeah, well, that's the hope. But I think we kind of skated a little bit around it, but his comment in the thing, because they showed him from, people have gone back and criticized him from his past because his movement is so powerful that he's associated himself with maybe not the best,
but the best people.
But it's kind of that
it's all to
comment.
bring down the worst person.
Yeah, that's right. So the fact that he says, and his commentary around the fact that he would prefer to hang out with Nazis than to overthrow Putin is a pretty powerful statement. But he's comparing that to Murray's point that Putin is actually worse than the Nazis.
Yeah.
Right. So it's pretty bad. I just this film was engrossing to me. Like,
yep.
And the fact that we were blessed, I got to say blessed, because I don't know if other people will get that commentary and interview after the movie.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if when it comes out on HBO,
Right.
if they're going to put that on there. But that
I would
interview
imagine they would.
with the director and the guy who was the reporter that spawned it
and the tech
out.
guy who uncovered everything.
Yeah. Like that's the fact that they recorded, like, it's just, I don't know. It blows my mind. When we watched Assassins, because Assassins was 2 years ago now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Assassins to me was probably and it's still, I still prefer Assassins to this, but they're completely different documentaries. Assassins, I came out of it.
Apples and oranges.
I came out of Assassins angry.
Yeah.
I was angry at the countries that didn't support them. This one I came out with hope. This movie is a movie about hope.
Yep. I completely agree
right?
with you.
Like the anger and rage I felt when I watched Assassins. I want to kill everybody that made this happen. This one, it's like I should be wanting to hate those Russians, but the fact that I have such
though like everything that happened in it, there just does seem to be a light at the end of this tunnel.
There is.
It's like if this guy can do this, and the following that he has, it's got to make a difference.
Well, I think as one of the guests on the Q&A, when they asked him that, it's like, what happens now? And it's like they said, I don't think Putin survives this war. Like his public image is down the crapper right now, and the whole world is going to make him accountable for the war, and he's not going to be in power much longer. I don't think.
But that's the thing. Your point is well taken, and they're the same with the commentary. But it's either going to go one way or another. Mm-hmm. It's leading down a path of Putin's going to be out, or we're going to have a third world war.
Yeah,
that's really the two outcomes. Is really so. I mean, that's the sad part about it.
All right.
Well,
there's a sandwich.
It was a sandwich with a big turd in the middle. Yum yum.
Temperature rising. Vision blurring. Rage taking over.
So finally, we come to the week. I've been saying Putin's been my rage for a long time.
Now you have a reason?
Now we have another reason. After seeing Navalny, it's like refortified how much that Putin is my rage. But that's not my true rage this week. My true rage is Michael Bay. And again, at Bryce, for thinking that Pain and Gain was a Mondo. That's all my rage is this week. And we're going to talk more about this in our next segment on the lists.
I wonder what my rage is.
Is it me for raging at you? Succulent rage.
Michael Bay is still making movies. That is my rage. You're almost 60 now. Isn't it time to retire? Enjoy the rest of your life. Travel or take up a hobby that involves me not watching another one of your motion sickness inducing, over-bloated, noisy attempts at cinema. Please, Michael Bay, I'm begging you. Stop making movies.
Well said.
Proceeding was brought to you by the Michael Bay Fan Club.
The anti-Michael Bay Fan Club.
Hey, everybody. I'm Jess.
And I'm Ebony.
And we are
the Gruesome Twosome Movie Review Zone.
We are about the wacky, the wonderful,
The weird.
the strange,
The unusual.
the gore,
The fucked up.
the actors, the connection,
the
passion, the love. Pretty much everything that
Comes
film
with film.
represents. Yeah. But if it's on a screen, we are there. We are reviewing. We love snacks. We love people. We love love.
We
and
just love film.
we love films.
So come join us on the couch.
If you're as crazy as film as we are, come join us and have a good time with us. See you soon, my loves.
Bye.
Well then.
Well then.
Gruesome twosome. I like snacks too.
Snacks are delicious.
Snacks are delicious.
A nice, nice celery stick with some hummus.
Gross.
Or peanut butter.
Or dip it in sugar, then you're talking.
No! That's gross.
Celery stick dipped in sugar?
Damn right.
Ouch!
And rolled in chocolate.
And then deep fried.
Believe me, it probably exists.
It probably does.
Well, I didn't really have a whole lot this week. I was just basically going to say Putin sucks.
This is our Murman Minute?
Yeah,
You
no,
can't. You gotta find a positive.
I thought of something else.
You got. Oh, thank God.
We recently lost another comic legend.
Yeah.
Gilbert Gottfried died
Yeah.
a couple days ago. Well, not really known as a movie star per se, or any even, spectacular films. He's
a voice.
undeniably, most recognizable person in any movie.
Yeah,
right away, just from the sound of his voice, boom. And he added life to pretty much everything he was in. He was in Aladdin as I think he was the bird, wasn't he?
Iago, yep.
And Problem Child, he was a bad guy. My favorite movie, actually, that he was in was The Adventures of Ford Fairlane, which I own, which I will never dare you guys to watch because I know you'll rage about it.
Yeah, you're probably
Starring
right.
Andrew Dice Clay. And I
Forget
think
about
Vince Neil's in it too. But yeah, Gilbert Gottfried was awesome in it. And yeah, he's mostly a stand-up comic, but he was a lot of fun. And it's sad that he died.
It is.
That's all I got.
He's funny as fuck.
He was funny.
He truly is.
Oh, baby.
Baby is right.
Murray put a stinker out of his ass for this group's walk off. Walking off.
I have to agree.
This was a stink fest of all stink fests. I can't believe my chosen Mesmerize was in this movie with Mr. Walken.
It wasn't that bad.
It was pretty bad.
It was meh.
Yeah, I
This
wasn't even
movie-
going to watch it, but then I figured out how to watch it for free on Cineplex.
Nice.
So I forced myself to watch it. Yeah, it was terrible.
Yeah.
It was okay.
Okay, well, let's talk about what we're all waiting for. We all know what it is. If we need to write it down, we do.
I think we should write it down.
Okay. I'm writing it.
I just want to say my choice is none of the above.
You have to
But
choose
apparently that's
Crispin
not an
Glover
option.
or Christopher Walken. Crispin or Christopher? Kristen or Crispin?
All right.
1, 2, 3, reveal.
Oh, for crying out loud.
What?
You are so wrong.
What? Christopher Walken was terrible in this movie.
Of course he was.
He was awful.
Crispin Glover,
Crispin Glover
was-
had 3 lines.
He had more than 3
and he-
lines.
he had more than
Anytime he
3
stepped
lines,
on
and he
screen,
wasn't mesmerizing at all.
every single time he stepped on screen and went into the fridge, he was mesmerizing.
You're a
When he was
joke.
at the beach, he was mesmerizing.
No, he
When he was
wasn't.
on the couch, he was
What
mesmerizing.
a joke.
Kiefer was
Chris-
more mesmerizing. He didn't have any lines.
Christopher Walken was awful in this. If I saw this movie,
Christopher Walken, number 1, was not awful.
he
in
was
this.
awful in this movie. He was
number
literally
2,
boring in it.
Crispin Glover was boring in it.
Crispin Glover was mesmerizing.
No, he didn't.
Every time he went to the fridge, his eyes, it's all in his eyes. You got to see it. You can talk about Japanese
you know
cube.
what? I'm not talking about it anymore. Let's just move on because
Okay, well,
I'm just so disgusted with you.
Can
right
we
now.
at least admit
Yeah.
that we need to talk about Mary Stuart Masterson and how repulsive she is every time she's on screen?
She's pretty bad. I don't know how she ended up with a career.
She's a child of the 80s.
Yes. So I'm throwing her up for repulsive because every time she went on screen, I was like, "Why are you on the screen?"
Yeah.
And every movie she's ever been in, I felt the same
She made
way.
a movie in the last 30 years?
I don't know.
I don't
think
think
she has.
so, but yeah,
She was in a ton of them in the 80s, but
Yeah.
I don't know. She wasn't the worst thing about this movie.
She was.
No, she wasn't.
Yeah, actually, I would say that she was. I would agree that she was the worst thing about this movie.
Okay,
but there was some bad, but it was all right. Now.
It was a terrible. This would have been a rage for
Your
me.
Golden Boy
Yeah.
wasn't much better.
Sean Penn was fantastic.
Was not.
He didn't have to be. The movie was so bad.
Scenery, that's all he was doing.
Yeah, the last thing she was in was TV series. Daniel Isn't Real.
She's like 60 now, isn't she?
I don't know. Okay, so I'm putting her up as
She's like-
repulsive.
It's like my age, I think.
I don't think
She-
so,
okay.
dude.
Pretty sure.
That's one for repulsive.
Yeah.
Murray?
What? Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I don't really care
It's
enough.
official. Mary Stuart Masterson is repulsive.
Okay. Hard to argue with.
Now, we also need to talk about Harrison Ford
Okay.
because we talked about him last week.
Okay.
And we need to find out. We know he's not repulsive. That's
No.
not Harrison Ford.
No.
And what we're bringing him up for
It's got to be doubted.
is
what
for
you're-
doubted.
Yeah. Okay. I have no idea what he's been in the last 8. So.
All right, so here it is.
Okay.
The last film he saw was one that you saw, which is The Call of the Wild.
Okay, that was a rage.
Okay, you're writing these down, right? We saw him in Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker, which was a rage.
Yeah, it was meh.
No, it was a rage. That was the last one.
That was meh.
It was a rage.
I liked it.
Anyways, you say it's a rage, so it doesn't matter what I say, but it was meh.
Well, if he gets 2 mehs, that means he's not going to be on it. Then, before that, he was in Blade Runner 2049. So
I liked
it's
it.
not going to be a rage. So unfortunately, we can't go any further with Harrison Ford.
What are you talking about? It was that was Mondo.
Yeah,
too,
that's
so-
why we can't go any further.
What was the point of this conversation? Why do you bring up someone who 3 movies ago was Mondo?
Because
what the hell is wrong with you?
Because I forgot. I forgot he was in that movie.
Oh
Because
my
if you
God.
go before that, he was in The Force Awakens, which was a rage. Then he was
I
in The
don't
Age
care.
of
It
Adeline.
doesn't matter.
Then he
it
was
doesn't
in.
matter.
I
It
know.
doesn't matter. So
I
just
know.
stop talking.
I know. Harrison Ford
For
apparently
crying out loud.
isn't because he was in
I'm
Blade
sitting
Runner.
here writing down Call of the Wild. And then, oh yeah, Blade Runner was Mondo. You're a freaking idiot.
I can't believe you didn't give The Rise of Skywalker a rage.
What the hell
almost-
does that? It doesn't matter
I'm
what
almost
I gave
positive you gave it
It
a
doesn't matter.
I know.
None of it matters,
I know.
Jim.
I was just wanting to find out.
Yeah, let's move on.
Are we done with that?
Yes.
Okay.
I still think he's not making good movies.
Last time on Rage or Dare, Bryce whined as usual about having to pick from Jim's bag of rage, where he picked
I do it every week.
second Dennis Rodman flick in a month when he chose Simon Says. This week, Jim will gladly choose to pull Nothing But Joy from Bryce's bag of sheer delight.
Oh crap! Am I supposed to have a bag ready?
Let's check in with Bryce and see if Dennis Rodman
Can
missed his
we-
calling or should have stuck.
Can
to
we
acting.
rewind to the part where Bryce called me an idiot and just remind him of how much of a
Waste
bigger idiot he is?
time. I thought you had a bag over there.
Well, I'll put something together.
No, you're going to do your review first, and I'm going to pull
Yeah.
and I'm
No,
going to pull
no.
from the dare bag.
No, I've got it. Just
Just do your review.
I'm gonna do my review. I've got it.
Oh, I
just
don't
have
I
to.
swear, I need
I
a
just have to-
fight bell
I just need a little bit of. I need about 10 seconds after my review.
during our podcast.
You sit there and love
Sure.
to hear yourself talk anyway, so just
right.
talk to yourself for
I'll
10
talk about
seconds
Harrison
after.
Ford.
Should I read the intro again?
No, so if Dennis Rodman wasn't so darn charming, this would have been unwatchable. But he alone is worth watching as he plays CIA agent Simon. Simon Says. The rest of the cast was awful, with an especially cringe-worthy performance from Dane Cook. How did this guy ever have a career in entertainment. He's literally the opposite of funny.
Yep.
Still, we had Dennis Rodman doing what Dennis does, and that is simply being awesome. Plus, we had 2 scenes in this that were so good, I will never forget them. One had Simon scaling the walls and ceiling of a tunnel riding his motorcycle, basically doing a loop-de-loop, and to witness it is to experience pure joy. The other scene had Rodman leaping out of a window, grabbing onto a pillar, and then sliding down using only his legs as he fired up at the bad guys who were actually about 10 feet to the right of where he was firing. And then while continuing to slide down, he leaned backwards
Of course he did.
and fired at the bad guys on the ground, at this point only using his ankles to grip the pillar. Is there nothing Rodman cannot do? That is a man with tremendous lower body control and perhaps the strongest ankles in human history. Rodman is amazing. And while the Dane Cook factor stopped this from being a higher rating, Simon Says was still a man.
You know what I'm thinking?
I don't.
I'm thinking we might have to talk about Dennis Rodman next week.
Moving him
At
where?
the very least, the guy's mesmerizing. Anybody that says he's not is an idiot.
I'm just going to see what else he's been in.
I know what he was in. The Chicago Bulls.
Oh, yeah, he was in that too. He's pretty mesmerizing on that team too.
Not really.
Yeah, it
It
was.
was all Jordan.
Okay, so
Whatever.
He's
Dennis
been-
Rodman was all D all
he
the
was
time.
he's in the TV series American Gangster.
Shut down anybody.
He's in a music video. He was in an episode of the Trailer Park Boys. Blunt movie, which I have a feeling he smoked some weed in.
You think?
The Minis,
No idea.
starring Dennis Rodman.
Of course.
The Comebacks, starring Dennis Rodman.
Produced by-
I guarantee every one of those movies is awful, and he is awesome in every single one of them.
He was in a TV movie called Cutaway.
Yeah. Doesn't ring a bell, but once again,
It's probably amazing.
probably-
Oh, he was in Eddie, that fantastic movie with Whoopi Goldberg.
The basketball movie?
Yep.
yes. Where she plays the head coach of the New York
Yes,
Knicks.
I remember.
I tell you.
All right, now give me one of those stink bottles.
Just,
Give me one.
just-
Get your.
here.
Apparently, we're overworking Bryce.
Apparently, we know who the real idiot is on the show. All right, I'm gonna see "Hello, Dolly." Yes, hello, Dolly.
a musical from the 70s?
I love Carol Channing. Is Carol Channing in this? I sure hope so.
Couldn't even tell.
Oh, even better. The queen of screen herself, Barbara Streisand. Walter Matthau? I can't wait to watch this. Hello. Come on. We got to have... Carol Channing's got to be in this.
I don't think
That's
she
her
is,
song. Isn't that her song?
but I don't think so.
I've always known it as "Hello, Dolly." Yes, hello, Dolly. Nope. No Carol Channing. Maybe it's not going to be as good as I was hoping it was going to be.
Maybe not.
Oh, I'm kind of excited about it. Hope I can get this.
You
Do
can.
oh, good. I love it when you.
I made sure that these are all very gettable.
Oh, yeah.
I had some on my list that I couldn't put in because I'm like, he's not going to be able to get it. But I made sure that these are very, very gettable.
I am actually super excited because I love Walter Matthau
Who doesn't?
and I love Barbara Streisand.
There you go. And
Yentl herself.
and you love musicals.
And
There you go.
yeah, I don't like that.
Oh,
Is this a musical?
yeah.
Oh, right. Barbara Streisand's in it.
Right.
But she was in.
I hope Walter Matthau sings.
Sure you will.
Do you think he will?
I think he might.
I've heard him sing. He's got a voice.
I don't think she sang in. What was that movie she was in with Nick Nolte, where she was the.
God, I don't know.
I don't know. Prince
Remember?
of Tides.
Yeah,
Sure.
she
that
didn't sing
it?
in that. Yeah, that was it.
Sounds right.
Which was a great movie, and she did a great job. And I don't think she sang.
Yeah, but this is Hello Dolly from 1969.
Yeah, I was gonna say
I love 69. It's a good number and a good year.
There you go.
I'm
Enjoy.
excited.
You should be.
You've just
excited.
given me the Dennis Rodman equivalent of 1969.
Enjoy.
Nice.
So, in all our excitement and rage, we actually forgot about this week's Walken Off. You guys want one or not?
Oh, do we?
Okay, we're gonna.
Whoa, this is
yeah.
exciting.
We're going backwards. We're gonna get a walking off.
It's a
Werewolf.
walking off if you want it.
Oh, of course we want it.
You
Yep.
really, really want it.
We really, really want it.
All right, you ready?
Yep.
True Romance.
Oh, no.
Christopher Walken.
This is the one you've
and
been asking
Gary Oldman.
Oh, crap.
Oh, crap.
They never share the screen in it.
No, they don't, but they don't have to.
But there's. I don't even have to watch it, but
Are you
I
kidding?
will.
It's Gary Oldman all the way.
Gary Oldman.
Shut up.
There you go.
I'm sorry, but if you watch the scene between Christopher Walken and Dennis Hopper and come up with any other conclusion than what you have to come up with watching that scene,
You know what? I hated this movie so much, but I'm looking forward to it because that's true. That scene is
There is
amazing.
one
But maybe
scene.
there's a Gary Oldman version
I
of
forgot
that.
he was even in it.
I did too.
I had to look.
So that's not. It's not promising for Gary Oldman. I'm saying it's not promising.
Although,
But I'm not having any preconceived ideas.
having said that, the true stealer of that particular scene was Dennis Hopper.
Yeah.
Who is not on our list for some
Which we'll
reason.
talk about Dennis Hopper next week.
There you go.
Apparently.
Apparently.
Right? Right?
I don't know.
Maybe. Well, thanks, Ragers, for listening. Thanks to the extended Film Rage family, who you can find in our show notes. Find us on social media everywhere at Film Rage YYC. Check out everything Film Rage at filmrageyyc.com, including our merch site for Redbubble and TeePublic. And I think there's a sale going on right now, so buy some merch for Grandma for Asta. We're always wanting to make this a raging blast for our listeners, so please comment, like, and subscribe, and send us an email to filmragecalgary@gmail.com. Dare us to see terrible movies to fuel our rage, but no matter what you do, please make us rage. Please. Please. That's it for this week. Rage on!
Rage on!